Yeah, you're on.
Hi guys, I'm back on the leadership blog again today, and really privileged today to have with me Kwai Yu. Kwai is the founder of the Leaders Cafe, great blog. If you check it out on Google, the Leaders Cafe, and he's written a great book called Knowing, Doing, Winning. It's all about leadership, and we're going to ask him some questions now about his leadership philosophy. So let's have it. Let's do it. Kwai. Hi Kwai, welcome to the Leadership Blog here. It's great to have you with us. Just had a great discussion with you. We're here in Birmingham at the church today, at Mount Zion Church, just chatting before we head down to the Den Diverse Entrepreneur Network launch event, which happens this evening over at the Custard Factory. And we're talking about leadership, and I've been really kind of stirred and inspired really by your philosophy about leadership and what you think are the key qualities of a leader who's going to make a difference. And can you just talk us through that philosophy, Kwai, again, please?
Yeah, sure. I'm really put it down to something very simple. Because if you think about the spectrum of people who lead from one end to the other, and it can be somebody who is just a community worker with no formal training, to somebody like the President of the United States, for example. The question that I asked is, what is common between all these people in terms of their traits, if you like, or the qualities? And my own discovery through a lot of research is that what compels people to lead, and the key word is compel, is when they know their purpose, their passion, they understand what hope really means, and they remain curious about the world they live in, and they have courage and tenacity to go through the paces.
So that's purpose, passion, hope, courage, tenacity,
and
curiosity. Those are the 6 things.
Yeah.
Okay, so how did you come about that understanding that those are the 6 things that leaders had?
Well, through a lot of research work, and when I look at a lot of profile of leaders in different ways and different forms, what I was doing was I was highlighting the words that kept repeating, and after a while the pattern came out.
Right.
And those 6 words were indeed the ones that tend to be mentioned quite a lot. Right.
And you mentioned some stories earlier of some individuals.
Yeah, there are plenty of stories. You've got, for example, Ben Law, who was featured on Channel 4's Grand Design program. Ben designed a fantastic and built a fantastic woodland house in 2004. He built it for about £28,000. The equivalent house down where he lived in Surrey, I think would have cost about £750,000. Now the question is, how did he do that? Well, he did that because his project was so amazing. There's so much purpose and passion behind what he did. He got all his labour free of charge, and he harvested all the wood from his woodland that he was leasing from the council, and that was it. It was just purely down to his purpose, and the passion was so strong that he just had a lot of followers, and that's enabled him to succeed.
And you said that at the end of the show they were trying to choose the best house, and they ended up choosing.
Absolutely, yeah. I think Grand Design went on to somewhere between 6 to 10 series.
Right.
And his house was by far the cheapest.
Yeah.
But it was voted the house of all the series.
Wow.
And he was competing against houses that was like £2 million.
Right.
Fabulously, furnished. But you know what? What really made this house different was that you can tell there's heart and soul in the house.
Right. It was how he did it as well, wasn't it?
It was how he did it, yeah. Absolutely. Like, for example, he had to cut 12,000 tiles for his house.
Wow. Fantastic. Listen, you shared with us a while ago, and I'm going to do something I wouldn't normally do, but I'm going to go to these cups on the table here. I know you mentioned the 6 key things, but you mentioned 2 other things that help those things kind of be glued together. I think, can we just have a look at that quickly?
I can. If you can take this, what I first want to explain though is my driver for thinking about leadership was actually through Einstein. Two quotes that's attributed to him, which are, everything should be made as simple as possible, but no simpler. And the second quote is, if you can't explain something simply, you haven't understood it well enough. And when I went on my own leadership journey of figuring out what leadership is about, I decided to really hone in on those two statements. So, in terms of my model of knowing and doing winning, it's very straightforward. If you take the first cup as...
Get these apple things out of the way.
If you take the first cup as knowing, and I'll do it on this side, the second cup as doing, the third cup as winning, how do you move from knowing what you want to do to doing it? And then obviously doing it in itself doesn't mean you get past the winning line. How do you get to winning? And it's as simple as you need courage to move from knowing to doing. And of course, to move from doing to winning, you need tenacity. And for me, if you want to get leadership down to its simplest form, it is nothing more simpler than that. But of course, underneath all of that, the big one is knowing what you need to know. And what you need to know is purpose, passion. You need to understand what hope really means, and you need to remain curious. Because my view is, as a leader, if you don't know these four things well enough yourself, how are you going to lead other people?
That's awesome. Kwai, thank you so much for your time today. I know we're off to the Den event now. And you can check you out on your leadership blog. You get the address for that?
The website is www.leaderscafe.co.uk.
Cheers, mate. Thanks for your time, man.
Thank you.
See ya.